everybody, welcome back. Happy Monday. Sorry this video is coming out a little late, but I've had some technical issues and I had a major focus this weekend on getting a project done because it was very imperative, and so I kind of shut everything down around me, so to speak, so I could focus on this one thing and get it done for obvious reasons once you see what it is. So, Amigurumi Monday. For those of you who are new, if you do not know what Amigurumi Monday is, it is a segment I do every Monday where I go over whatever ami I am making, ami I have finished, or if we are adding new ami patterns to the random draw bucket, or drawing from the random draw bucket because we are either about to finish an ami or we have finished one and we want to know what to do next. Unless I have a special request like this one. I did side table the pigs. Peter, Penelope, and the baby pig, because I think I talked to you guys last week about a special request from Hospice I had received when I had gone to the appreciation luncheon that they do annually for the volunteers, for a new patient who is a 14-year-old young man and very into Pokemon, and he's been all over our news, our local Facebook pages, with his story, his journey. A very inspirational young man, and every time I read it and an update, I still cry, as well as I did when I was working on the project. So I kind of shut everything down, stayed in my own little bubble because my gut was telling me to do this and do this now, and put everything else to the side because this was more important, and that was what I did. So and what did I do with the pattern? There it is. Sorry about that. So this young man, whose journey has been all over Facebook, is battling leukemia, and he is very into golfing, Pokemon, things like that. And I was given the request and asked if I could make a Pokemon for him. And so I asked them to find out. First I asked about what his favorite character was, and then I thought, well, what if I'm not able to, whatever character that is, because I'm not very familiar with Pokemon. So I asked what his top 3 was, and for them to get back with me and let me know. Well, it turns out his favorite character, and I didn't get a top 3, I got just a 1, but his favorite character was Pikachu. So I went on the hunt, and if I wasn't able to find a pattern that I deemed, I'm very picky about the patterns that I use when I gift things for hospice, for obvious reasons. So I went on the hunt, and I narrowed it down between 3, and I had a hard time deciding, but inevitably I finally went with this one right here, the Amigurumi Pikachu crochet pattern. And I'm trying to, does it even have the designer in here? Goozell Toys. Right there. Goozell Toys. And it also came with the pattern for the Pokeball, which it didn't matter if it did or not, because I have free-handed a Pokeball for someone last year for a little fun thing that a friend of mine was doing for her nephew with Flat Stanley. So I decided to go with this one, and so I printed it out, and then I wanted to pick the yarn because I Google imaged a bunch of pictures of him because I wanted to get the right hues or tones of the yarn because I wanted to make this as close as possible. Call it the perfectionist in me, but I also, with this type of gift, it's something tells me that it can't be less than perfect. You know what I mean? So I started it, and like I said, I shut the world out, and we finished it late last night. I was so exhausted. I was seeing 2 and 3 of everything, but we got her done. I went through my yarn, and it turns out that most of the colors that I was using were all partial skeins. So I was able to use up some more of those partial skeins. They're still not finished, but we used some more of this red random ball that I have laying around. I don't even remember what I used it on. So it wasn't very much of that one. And then we had to use a little bit of a lighter brown. So I pulled out the Big Twist Value. And this one is the color Camel, I believe. Yeah. And it's a 380 yard or 347 meter, 6 ounces or 170 grams. And it's a 4-weight medium. These are all 4-weight medium. Didn't use very much of this whatsoever. So I got no yarn labels, but I got the project done. And then this is a ball that I've been working on for quite a while, and it is just Red Heart Super Saver in the colorway black, and we're still not done with it. And for the yellow, the perfect shade that I had out of everything was this Walmart Mainstays partial ball that I had laying around, and it is the color Just Yellow. It's looking a little washed out, but if you've seen it, you know the color is exactly like what was in the pictures. So I went with it, I grabbed it, and yeah, there we went. So I'm gonna put these back in this bag. And I'm kind of happy the way it turned out. I actually had thought about if I couldn't find one that was jumping out at me and screaming, "Make me," I was going to reach out Nova Gnome Creations, because she knows her video games, and I knew she could help me track down what I needed. But right before I was about to message her and say, "Help me, Nova," I actually found this one, and then I was like, okay, you know, so that was the one I picked. So we'll start with the Pokeball. They had you start with the white, go to the black. I did make some changes because I didn't like how they were having you do the stripe, because too much of the underside or the upper colors were showing through, if that makes sense. And I didn't want that happening. I wanted it solid. And of course, the button is sewed on separate. I actually made the button because, like the one I freehanded last year, I didn't know if that was going to be too big for this project, so I went ahead and went with the one that came with the pattern. I got to like about here before you close it up, and I just went ahead and sewed the button on while it was still open, and then I stuffed it, and then we finished up. But here's the Pokeball. And then I frogged quite a bit on this, trying to get it perfect. There was a couple little inconsistencies, or I think part of the problem was this person's first language is not English, and so there was a little bit of wording issue in the translation, but in the end I was able to figure it out and come out with a project that I was very pleased with and I feel is gift worthy for this special person who around here basically has become a local hero for his fight and determination not to give up. So without further ado, we have a Pikachu. I kind of like how it turned out. I did tack the tail with one little loop through because it was just, the pattern suggested putting wire in it, but with most of my Amis that go to hospice patients, even though I know who this one is going to, the other ones I really don't. Sometimes they go to an adult, sometimes they go to a child. So I don't put the wiring in because of, I don't want there to be an issue later. So I try and make do with some way to, if it's something that needs to be propped or whatever. So I just went ahead and just put one little stitch through to tack it on so it stands up. But yeah, I'm very pleased with how it turned out. The face shaping was a little weird, but I went with how I do face shaping. So yeah, there we go. And I'm hoping that he likes it, even though from what I've understood, like, people are sending this boy Pokemon cards through the mail and he is like in heaven. So I'm hoping that he will be just as happy with this Pikachu once he receives it. And yeah, so there we go. My first time ever making a Pokemon character, because like I said, I am not very well versed in video games, anything like that. I don't honestly know anyone who plays Pokemon, and if I do, they've never told me they do. So I had to look everything up. I mean, I've seen it around, but never really like paid attention because it's kind of not my thing. I'm more the crochet in my free time and stuff like that. So yeah, Pikachu. I like how it turned out. And then there's the Pokeball. So I've already taken a picture and sent it on to Tracy, who is our special projects coordinator over at Cares Hospice, and she loves it, and she is going to be scheduling a day to come down and pick things up. And yeah, so this one will be going to live in its new home soon. Until then, I have paperwork to fill out before it goes to the office, and all of the Amis that I make for gifting to hospice, and that's got a thread tail, go in organza bags with the paperwork that we have to fill out to go with them. Provided they go in one of these, provided they fit. I have another smaller size, not very small, but like the next size down. I have looked at the huge ones for bigger Amis that I make, but the amount of money that they cost versus how many you actually get is crazy ridiculous. So yeah, I usually do those without an organza bag, and just I think these are the 12 by 16. These are the majority of the size that I use anyway. So I try and keep stocked up on these. This time it was a multi-pack, which I'm glad that I did get a multi-pack. That way I can kind of match the organza bag with the whatever the project is. so that it looks super cute. But a lot of times I just buy the solid. But it's okay. So yeah, that was Amigurumi Monday. So since we've got that finished, we can get back to working. I don't even remember where we ended on the pigs. I think I had finished ears. I don't remember, because I went from, after working on that, focusing on trying to get the Christmas version of the Mandela blanket finished because it was getting so hot and humid here. And we finished her. So all we have left is our Nifflers version, which is so much easier to work with because it's so much lighter weight. And then we finally found the perfect pattern for the perfect Pikachu, and we got her done. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. I just can't wait to get it to Tracy so she can get it where it belongs. Because I don't, especially when they're a special request, I don't like to hang on to them when they're for hospice. So if she is not able to come down here, set anything up, then I will be happy to get it to her. That way I know it will get where it needs to go in plenty of time. So yeah, there's that. So I guess we're going to be working on the pigs, and hopefully we can get some work done on them. But it was meant to be. They needed to be side tabled for a very, very a good reason, and I was only happy to do that. So yeah, so that's our Monday. We've got some storms coming. I guess it's going to be a roller coaster of a week, which is wreaking havoc on the satellite, the internet, and the phone. If one's not going out, the other one is, and it's kind of like a ripple effect. And then once they start coming back up, and yeah, it's a whole deal. So hopefully that's going to stop soon because it's getting rather annoying. But yeah, so other than that, I guess I am going to get ready to get this video uploaded so I can get it out to y'all. I'm losing my train of thought because I have so many things I need to do. For obvious reasons, because I kind of fell behind on a lot of stuff this weekend because I got in my own little bubble and just blocked out the world. But it was for a good reason. So there's that. Sometimes we just got to do what we got to do. And it kept me in that frame of mind to be able to do what I needed to do for this person. So, yeah. And I'm happy with the end result. I just hope he will be too. So I'm going to go ahead and end this, like I said, because I actually have some more videos I need to record today and get uploaded for this week, and some extra content. I have a list of some things that need to get put out. Yeah. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go and leave you with these parting words. Life is not perfect, so be kind. Try and create something new every day and keep reaching for the stars in your yarn. So till next time, guys, love you bunches. Bye for now.